What's up, Trios Tribe? Bringing you guys another BT6 event. We're kind of in a official Bandai event shortage, but don't worry because we love shining light on community-driven events. This one is an Argentinian event, Phoenix Reborn's BT16 Open, they called it, I guess. Kind of crazy when you think about it. They have a 120-person event, 7 rounds of Swiss, top 16 cut. We don't have the exact placements for everyone, but it really, honestly, for most prize pools, knowing what this is kind of whatever. I don't think they had they did a top 16 cut. Did they play out the top 16? I'm not actually sure. Someone educate me on the lore in the comments if they actually played out top 16. Kind of looks like they did. They just didn't play for 3rd place, so it looks like they did play it out. But they didn't just hard place everybody, so it doesn't matter. Right, anyway, I'm talking too much. Yeah, we just love, I know in South America, they kind of lack a lot of events, considering how it's kind of imagine NA and then how many events we feel we don't get, and now South America's pretty big too. So a lot of their community, they have a huge community over there. I mean, and then they just love to play, and then they make up their own events to play just to get to play, you know. So it's a lot of respect there. That's why we cover these events, shine light on things that need to be shined. That being said, this is a 120-person event. It's top 16, BT16. Mirage takes it, unsurprisingly. I feel like a turn of events went from our NA event was top 16 was 8 Numemon, and now we're going into 3 Mirage, 3 Imperial, 3 Vaccine, 2 Security Control, 2 Numemon, 1 Tyrant, 1 Magnamon X, and 1 Bird deck. Red bird deck, I guess, because we're soon going to be in a world of blue and green birds. We're going to have birds of a feather, birds of every color. Anyway, bird topping, we'll definitely be talking about that. But yeah, it's nice to see a big pivot going off of what we saw in North America, just Numemon dominating back to, Numemon being more controlled and Mirage, and Imperial just having their way. Still seeing Vaccine armor being the more represented armor when it comes to a top cut. But yeah, let's get into it. Yeah, I'm probably gonna have a lot to talk about. So next page, this is the bird deck. This was a deck I didn't talk about on the tier list when I did it with Eggman. It just wasn't I had faith in it. Maybe I just didn't believe in the chefs in the kitchen, maybe, or there's just something about it that I didn't want to bring up, and I didn't want to give people false hope. In that video, I said prove me wrong, and this guy kind of proved me wrong. Whether or not you consider 120 persons enough to prove me wrong, I do, because I love seeing decks like this too. Well, yeah, I've played against this deck. I've cooked a little bit with friends with this deck, and I still barely know the decks, man. All right, so we're playing let's just break it down. We're playing 4 of the BT11 Biomon. It's just a searcher and also gets you a tamer generically, kind of most of the Galmon does that. This Biomon does that. I believe even the Agumon in that set does. The Beamon does that. That set was just search 3, get my archetype, get my tamer of my color. And then we got the BT15 Biomon, which start of main phase, which is probably the first time we ever get to talk about this card. Start of main phase, trashing 1 card with Avian blah 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 Sovereign. So it's a key in its trades from your hand, reveal the top 4 cards of your deck, add 1 red card from among them. As long as you discard something, you're able to search any red card from the top of your 4. It's kind of nice. And in the bird deck, you kind of want to have your trash set up a little bit. It kind of leans towards this red purple without purple. It's kind of interesting. And then inherited, when a card is removed from your opponent's security stack, gain 1 memory. So definitely I'm surprised we're not even on the Koromon. We're actually on the on deletion Yokomon, which is return on deletion return 1 of the blah 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 bird. A million different ways to say bird in your trades to the hand. And then we're playing the BT13 Biomon. This is the one that if you have Christie warp into Garudamon, I believe. Yeah. Let's go. On play, if played by an effect, by returning 1 of your Christie to hand, this Digimon may digivolve into Garudamon in its hand, ignoring its Digivolution requirements without playing the blah 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 blah. It's a decent card. I wonder how much the warping really mattered. On deletion, Dramon's obviously good. Like raw draw in decks like these doesn't come up too often, and you need it, especially since we're not on Koromon. Oh, the menace of the format, Ukamon here, showing its ugly head. 3 cards. It's a free type, and it's is it an animal? It's an ancient fairy, so you're not getting it off of anything. I don't think ancient is included in these tags. It's not a vaccine. No, Ancient's not included in these tags, so you're not going to see it. Garudamon Ace. It's a good card. Garudamon Ace is actually a really good card for the deck because there's a lot of things that can happen with this Garudamon, and we'll get into that. The fact that it's 7K and not 8K, like most aces, is actually a really relevant number threshold for the deck as we go into it further. All turns, once per turn, when one of your teamers is played, delete an opponent's Digimon with blocker. Magnamon X's. Numemons, I mean, like, yes, Numemon can replace itself, but like getting rid of that blocker inheritable and then doing something else, or maybe the guy with blocker is a Valkyremon, maybe it's a Venusmon. It's an all turns effect, it doesn't matter. And then obviously the Wind Digivolving actually plays a 4-cost or lower red teamer anyway, so it kind of triggers itself anyway. And then there's some spicy combos that the deck is capable of. Going into level 4s, we don't actually have that many 4s, which is kind of wild to me. So it just probably gives credence to why we have this Biomon at all. Yeah, only 5 level 4s in the deck. Like, what? Dang. Yeah, no, thank you, Eggman Graph. 14 rookies. Shoosh. 5 level. All right, let's go into it. This is the BT11 Bergermon blocker on deletion. The on deletions, like once we get to our level 6s, that's when these on deletions matter a whole hell of a lot. You may play one on deletion. You may play one red tamer with a play cost of 4 or less from your hand without paying the cost. Nice. And then Saberdramon. Saberdramon is a bird. We saw it be a menace in Anubismon, and it makes sense to just see it here. It's still kind of weird to me that the card reading the card doesn't really explain the card when they have so much space to do so. It's really weird that they don't at least explain raid, but they have room to explain both on this card. But on deletion, return 1 red or purple Digimon card from your trash to your hand. It will be relevant. And raid Retal is insane. You also are able to give it rush through this tamer. On play, reveal 4 cards, add 1 red card with vaccine and its traits among them to your hand. Place the rest among them at the bottom of your deck. Blah 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 blah. Your turn, when you play a red Digimon with Avian, by suspending this tamer, that Digimon gains rush. Easy peasy. And then going to our level 5s, we did get a whole X package in the deck, and so we're playing the BT13 Garudamon. On play, when Digivolving, you may play 1 red tamer card with a play cost of 3 or less from your hand without paying the cost. So like if you're in the Warp Biomon, you can bounce your Christie, play a Christie, or you can play the Akiho from BT11, but like it's just a one of, so your only 3-cost tamer is that Christie. So you're kind of giving a lot of weight to this Christie. What does it do? If you have start main phase, if you have a Digimon with Bird or Avian Strains, gain 1 memory. It's nice to get memory based on what you're doing and not what your opponent is doing sometimes. So I get if you've played Lugamon, if you've played Commandramon, you kind of know what I'm saying right now. Yeah, on play, one of your Digimon gain on deletion. You may play 1 Biomon from your hand or trash without paying the cost until the end of the opponent's turn. This on play actually comes in relevant in terms of how these future combos work in the deck, and I'll explain that when I get there. And then, yeah, so part of BT16, we got Garudamon X. On play, when Digivolving, you may return 1 red Digimon card from your trash to your hand. That's already a relevant trigger in this deck. Then, if Garudamon X or X antibody is in this Digimon's Digivolution cards, delete 1 of your opponent's Digimon with as much DP as this Digimon. So you can delete an 8K or less. You're not really gaining DP anywhere else with as much or less DP as this Digimon. So 8K or less. And then your turn, once per turn, when a red card returns from your trash to your hand, 1 of your Digimon gains rush for the turn. So again, these combo stackings that we're about to talk about soon really matter. Inherited on deletion, trash the top card of your opponent's security. Nasty. That's actually nasty. And of all the Phoenixmons we chose to go with the BT15 one, the Sora one, but the Sora one tends to be generic. On play, on deletion, if your opponent has 3 or fewer security cards, delete one of their Digimon with the lowest DP. Yeah, so as long as you find a way to do 2 checks quickly, you'll be able to get this effect. If they have 4 or more, trash the top card of their security. So on play, on deletion, so not something that's going to happen right away, but we'll get there. When digivolving, you may play 1 red card, 1 red Digimon card, 5k or less, or 1 red Tamer card from your hand without paying the cost. Playing Tamers, busted. Like, we're just farming our Soras and Christies, honestly. To promote form, I don't need to talk about it. It's when this Digimon would leave the battlefield other than one of your effects. Just remember, you're not deleting your own guys. You don't really delete your own guys, so you're fine. Actually, can you delete your own Digimon with the delete one of their? If your opponent has, okay, one of their Digimon. So you're not deleting your own guy shenanigans, all right? And we're actually playing Wings of Love. You may, for 2 costs, you may play 1 red Tamer card with a cost of 4 or less from your hand with a pink cost. Then, if you have a Tamer with Sora Takanuchi in its name, return 1 red Digimon card from your trash to hand. You may play 1 Biomon from your hand or trash without paying the cost. Add 1 card to this card. Security effect. You may play 1 Biomon from your hand or trash without paying the cost, then add this card to your hand. Nice. It's just a way to cheat out a Tamer. If it feels kind of bricky, like saying out loud, and then Crimson Blaze, and then this Sora. We didn't really get to talk about the Sora yet. Sora is a memory setter, 4 cost or less, or it's a 4 cost. All turns when a red Digimon card returns. When a red Digimon card returns from your trash to the hand by returning this Tamer to the hand, you may play 1 13 cost or 13k DP or less Digimon with 10 ways to say bird, except sea animal, in one of its traits from your hand without paying the cost. For each of your opponent's security cards, remove 2k. So if you have 5 security, that's you can only play 3k. 3k, 5k, 7k. So you need to get to that 3 threshold, and now you can start playing those Garudamons that are 7 cost. And that's why that number I was trying to suggest earlier was a little more important. After that, we're at 9, 11, 13. So 11's weird, but our Phoenixmons are 11 cost. So if they're at 1 security, we start getting to what we want to see. Oh, and I didn't talk about Phoenixmon X. How did I know? This is the whole star of the show. When Digivolving Blitz, Digivolves on a Phoenixmon for 2. Your turn while Phoenixmon or X anybody is in this Digivolution cards, attach end of attack to all this Digimon's on deletion effects. On deletion, you may play 1 11,000 or lower DP or lower red Digimon card with blah, 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 in its trades from your hand without paying the cost. Delete one of your opponent's Digimon with as much or lower DP. So you you blitz with this thing, and ideally you survive, and then end of attack, you get the smorgasbord of on deletions happening. If you survive, if you get deleted, you get them anyway. But here's something, a really important ruling thing. As you can see, some of these on deletions are play a Tamer, right? The Birdramon, play a Tamer. What happens when you play Christie, gain an on deletion? You may play a Biomon in hand, blah, blah, blah. And then the next thing you know, you're on playing, looping Christies into Garudamons, and then you're doing all this stuff. The Christie, the on deletion you gain from Christie, if assuming it's an end of turn or an end of attack, and you play Christie as a trigger from one of your end of attacks, you do not get that on deletion. End of attack is a trigger, not a state. So the Digimon that did not have that on deletion effect when it hit, I hope I'm explaining this right. It's like a line, right? And when we cross that line, Christie is giving you the on deletion here after you've crossed the line, so you don't get this trigger, and there's some weird combos that happen from that. And yeah, anyway, I didn't set up my names for this event, so I'm really sorry. Yeah, maybe I should have done that. Yeah, maybe I can. I will do my best to be the best YouTuber you guys want me to be. This is Gonzalo's top 16 Garudamon. Interesting deck. Love to see new decks do well. We will. Oh dear. I've ruined it all. Hey, all right. So we're gonna start going into the Magnamon X. We only had one Magnamon X top. When I say Magnamon X, I do mean the blue base with Vmons and stuff. This deck is just lacking that one little bit of spice, and its name is Promo Flamedramon. Once we get the Promo Flamedramon, I feel like the deck changes on its head, because it is technically, it's not as high roll as the vaccine list can be, but it is way more consistent. It has way more of a flexible game plan if we don't high roll. The thing about tournaments though is if you're playing a high roll deck, and if enough people are playing a high roll deck, they're gonna bubble up to the top anyway, because you only have to if you know what I mean, like the high roll decks are the ones, or the greedier decks, the more high roll decks are gonna be the ones that we see do better in a single tournament, for example, because all you got to do is win those 10 games. And if your deck runs fine for those 10 games and then is complete garbage for like the 10 before and the 10 after, right? Like it's kind of a math thing and it gets weird. Hope I explained that well. Anyway, Vmon, nothing really crazy. It's interesting that we are playing the Kumamon here. For Davis Ken, Shu Lulin, again, proven wrong. Shu Yulin is a great card. I was in the realm of don't play Shu Yulin, and everyone's proved me wrong. We're actually playing Blinding Ray, and we still haven't seen the world of Vmon armor teching in things like Kongu and teching things in like Breath of the Gods. I really thought we would start seeing that, and we're not. Heaven's Judgment's a great card, especially when we have a 4 triggers of Heaven's Judgment. Sounds busted. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in 6 in the perfect scenario we could get there. It just makes sense though. Not choosing to only play 2 of the BT13 Magnamon. That's where the Kumamons come in, and just finding that extra attack I believe is important. I didn't say the name. This is Federico. Top 8 Magnamon list. This is our only Magnamon 8. Nothing too crazy. One Death X, because having level 7s is busted, especially if we're just Ruin mode, or we can play Ruin mode. We just chose Death X instead. Death X is good. I imagine we're worried about Numemon, and Death X is kind of the one we care about. I feel like that being said, Shine's probably better than Death X, but maybe we just don't want to give up our Magnamon, right? It makes sense to me. And yeah, just a collection of Vmons after that. And Davis Ken, the promo movie promo, Davis Ken is definitely one of the better ones to be having. And we're gonna go into, I think this is, we'll talk about security control. Pablo's top 16 security control list. Now they have Valkyriemon Ace. Great. Now security control is going to be able to hard play their Magnamons, play Digivolve into Valkyriemon Ace, give -5 or 4k to the board. It's 5k aura effect to the board, so a mini ruin mode, and then we also get to stack that with Revelation of Light. So this deck is capable of just having a blanket -10k onto your opponent's board, which gets kind of silly. Venusmon is just a great stall tactic. Playing Thunder Flame Crusher. All right, that is the biggest thing we're going to talk about here. It is security control. Shadow Seraph is a great card. We're not playing Angewomon to go along with the Revelations of Light, but all our relevant tamers are Kairi, so Revelation of Light is great. Vibrance Breath. But let's talk about Thunder Flame Crusher. While you have a Digimon or Tamer with Pulsemon and Straits, it doesn't matter. You may ignore this color requirement, blah, blah, blah. When this card would be used by trashing cards from the top of your security up to having 3 left, reduce the play cost for each card trash. So you can make this thing almost as cheap as you want, I guess. Delete one of your opponent's level 5 or lower Digimon. Then if you have 2 or fewer security cards, place this card at the top of your security. So if you're at 2 security, this plays for 4, or this plays for its full cost of 6, but you get to recover it. So it's just a better Holy Wave. So I kind of understand why we're on it. The security effect is a -15, so the security effect is just a Wyvern's Breath. So, like, it's kind of good. It's kind of neat. It's an interesting tech card. How many did we run? We ran 2, so we're still kind of on the better cards. But it is an interesting choice over something like Wyvern's Breath, or not Wyvern's Breath, Holy Wave. It is a heal if we're getting too low. It does still remove a level 5 or lower in case that's the situation we're in. Yeah, it's an interesting card. Let's go into the second security control list. We have top 8. We got top 8 Lautaro. Wow, Lautaro. Oh, I can't. I hate that I have to do names. I'm sorry. I butchered it. I can't even say the last name. Oh my god. South America, why? My heritage does not speak to me in this scenario. We got the Pillamons, we got the Salamons, we got a very similar lineup in terms of the removal suite. I actually also playing the Thunderflame Crusher. What are we adding? Are we just on? Oh, is it really just the Pillamon that like kind of shifts everything? And so we have the ratios just kind of moved around a bit. Yeah, no, we're still Flame Outside, Reinforcing. Oh, we're playing the Lunkies. Lunky out of stock, those. Right, this, honestly, no, both decks are running. Is it just the one card? It is just the one card. The Pillamon is the biggest difference. Everything else is just going up or down a little bit. Actually putting more value, more faith into the Thunderflame Crushers. And yeah, just like hoping, just off the back of Flame Health Sides, hoping we see our... It's just the hardest thing for this deck is always trying to get its colors online, and there's more Tamer deletion now than ever, so I'm kind of impressed that we were able to get there. I mean, I guess Goramon is the only real new Tamer deletion. Are we bottom decking Tamers? Oh, Tyrant. The bugs are getting rid of Tamers too now. Interesting. This is top 8, Gratz, yeah, Lautaro. Lautaro's top 8 security control. So next we got Yellow Vaccine. By Yellow Vaccine this is Mariano's top 16 vaccine list, and actually on the Niaramons. This is something I feel like we're gonna start seeing more and more of the. We're going to start seeing more and more of the Yellow Vaccine Magnamon X list running. It is an answer to what we were seeing with Edamon. It's an answer to what we were seeing with just how Numemon kind of tries to counter the deck. They try to stack on DP reductions and then bait you and taunt your Digimon into attacking, and then when you attack, Niaramon will trash, and then you gain immunity to the DP reductions. So you're just chilling after that. Anything special that I see from the list from last week? No, we're still on 4 Pillamon because everybody's playing by effects. Ukamon because just why not? Finding room for it. Only 4 of the Magnamon, Andromon, just sitting on level 5s. These are kind of our removal toolkit and an emergency button to go into. No, I guess we can't really ever digivolve into the Magna Rapids here, but we do have our suite of 9 level 4s. Interesting we didn't choose to up the Gold Vidramon, but we're so teched out everybody else that we just probably don't have room. Ruin Mode is still a great card, it just locks out games, and if you can do it, why not? Emissary of Hope, insane card. Insane value. Like the more and more I play against the Yellow Vaccine, the trio of Patamon, Emissary of Hope, and TK is really strong. Like there's no, like, it's hard to say what is the right thing. I think the Patamon is just gonna be in the long run the problem. Just like when you think about it, these Rapidmons should be digivolving for 4, and Patamon just promotes you get a free Digivolution for 4, and then you gain a memory on top of it, so that's a 5 memory of value right here. And then if you Emissary of Hope, you can go into this 5 cost Magnamon. No, you can't because it's not a Magnamon. Oh, you have to Awakening of the Golden Knight to get there. But if, let's say we're on the Rapidmon, you can get another 4 memory for 3, so you just went 5 memory here, 3 memory here off of Emissary. TK maybe gets you another one, so you're at 8 memory of just stuff. And then, yeah, like Magnamon X is just a good card. We do have to go into Woman into Magnamon X to do that, or we Awakening of the Golden Knight. If we get there, we get there. We're tucking in the one Zubagon Punch. We're actually playing Yellow Memory Boost instead of Training is an interesting thing, I believe. I guess because we want to combo our Digivolutions through things like Emissary of Hope or Awakening of the Golden Knight, the Yellow Memory Boost just ends up being a little better. The one of TK, Digimon Ember, Heaven's Judgment, all makes sense to me. Yeah, this is, who did I say this was? This is Mariano's. Now we're gonna go into Marco's, and let's see what little things we can get out. Kudamon, we're actually playing the Kudamon, not on the Niaramon as heavily in terms of Digibubbles. Kudamon is interesting. Kudamon, I feel like more often than not, kind of, like if you Digivolve this guy in the back, like I'm kind of happy if I'm versing you. So it's interesting, like interesting to see if this card like falls out in the future. Playing the Venusmon, I feel like the last list wasn't playing Venusmon. No Venusmon in the last list. So playing the Venusmon is also a good way to just shut your opponent out for a turn and then you just win the game. Actually on the trainings, but I'm actually starting to get convinced that maybe the memory boosts are just kind of better, but you are trying to find your TKs more often than not, and your awakening, having access to your awakening of the Golden Knight through training is also really nice, and your hopes. So it's a give or take for me. Which ones ends up being better? Let me know in the comments which one you've, like, if you've tested the deck, which one you've kind of see value in. I'm having the same struggles in my deck building with Lugamon, where it's like, do I want trainings or do I want mem boosts or mist boosts, whatever, traditional boosts? But yeah, nothing crazy. Actually choosing not to be on the Gold Vidramon at all, and I'm preferring more Magna Andromons instead of kind of mixing with Angelwomon. Yeah, and then after that, just Heaven's Judgment's a great card. Ruin Mode. Yeah, nothing to say after that. Just way heavier on the Magnamon X. It's just interesting. It's just, if the goal is really to, it's just wild to me. It's just wild to, it just feels weird that we are so low on 5s, and then our main goal is to get to Awakening, and then the ratios just feel off to me. And that's, every time I look at it, that's like, I get it in the comments, like just like something about the math in my head doesn't work. But obviously this deck is really good and is doing well, and this person got top 16 with this list in particular. It's just in my head, the traditional ratios just scream at me. But congrats on top 16. This is our top 8 Franciscos. Again, putting a little more value on Niaramon by playing it at 2 as an answer to Numemon, I believe. But after that, we're seeing also on the trainings, actually choosing to be on Gold Vidramon as well, mixing up the rookies with a little more Pillamon than Kudamon than the last guy. Ukomon still making its presence known. It's just a good Digimon. I'm still not convinced Ukomon is this mandatory must be answered put to 1 card, but I know that's like a weird take in the community right now. But yeah, more Goldramon V. Let's get rid of this ad, sorry. More Goldramon V, and then just kind of similar ratios throughout. Nothing else is really standing out to me other than like we kind of mixed up our rookies a little more and had the Gold Vidramon and top 8, so grats. 2-4 split on Rapid to Magna X is also interesting to me, just because I feel like Rapidmon's more consistently Digivolved into, but and we're choosing the physical trainings as well instead over Mem Boost. Maybe that guy just, maybe, I don't know. I still feel like there's a world where the Mem Boosts kind of are more valued than physical training, but who's to say? Who's to say? And Bugs gets its first topping list. Gotta get rid of this ad. Bugs once again tops, and we got some interesting little spice here at the top end. We got Lopmon. This is just main effect when your Digimon gains alliance for that little bit of aggression. I like that. Terramon on place of spend one of your opponent's Digimon. So we're trying to just play stuff, but this guy only plays insectoids, right? You may play one Digimon card with an insectoid or larva in its traits. I was talking to my friend the other day, and it's like, who is a larva? Is it just like Kunemon, like the little yellow Weedle looking guy? I don't really think there's too many Morphomon might be a larva. Everyone else is just an insect. So it's interesting. I want to know who's a insect. So we do have some spice here. The OG 1 cost of Digivolve Stingmons here. I love to see that. And then we got just the BT15 suite. We got the promo Kuwagamon that came out kind of under the radar. It came out in one of the box toppers. I think it came out with the Segio. On play, when Digivolving one of your opponent's Digimon or Tamers can't unsuspend until the end of their turn. Just a good card. It doesn't suspend, so you have to find a way to suspend anyway. Hello, Tentomon. Tentomon is another card that's interesting because you can suspend yourself. Suspend one Digimon. One of your Digimon gets with Insectoid trait gets 3k, or so you can just suspend him start of main phase. And if you have a way to unsuspend, then you're kind of chilling. Blade Kuwagamon, we've seen it now on play when Digivolve. One of your Digimon gets 3k, so it's just a great thing to just play to get bigger off of Tyrant Kabuteri. We're playing 3 Mem boosts, 3 agility trainings, 1 hidden potential because that card is insane. Probably should be banned. Digimon Emperor, just to counter the meta. Izzy, only 3 Izzy. I kind of felt like this deck lived and died off of Izzy and seeing Izzy, but only seeing just because it's got the analog man effect, but better. When one of your opponent's Digimon attacks, by suspending this tamer, switch the target to one of your suspended Digimon with Insectoid trait. And your guys are just big, so you're kind of chill with that. Playing the one of Shivamon, it is an Insectoid, and it also, you have that potential of being able to just lock your opponent out from not only attacking, but also using options. So, security control can eat it, I guess. And then, yeah, after that, Grand Kuwagamon Ace, we've talked about it already. Rhino Kabuteri, I don't believe the last time we saw a topping list. It does still Digivolve into Exentoids for 3 when attacking, as long as you have a Tamer. When attacking, if a card with Hybrid or Insectoid trait, as long as you have an Insectoid trait under it. Okay, so it's the Digivolving reduction. I'm always tripping. I'm always missing something. Yeah, so you can still attack with this. Your Tyrant Digivolves for 6, so getting to Digivolve that for 3 instead, kinda hype. And then Shivamon also Digivolves for 4, but if you, again, Digivolve for 3 is still cheaper than 4. But our cheapest Digivolution here is this Dino, or Grand Kuwagamon, does only Digivolve for 3, so it's a more traditional level 6. After that, Meta Life Kabuterimon is, Kuwagamon, I should say, is kind of our best level 4 or 5. That's why we're on 4 of it, and then we just hope to see it after that, right? It's the most interesting part is definitely the Terramon and the Lopmon to try to just get more checks, more power out of our Digimon. I could see it just having a Lopmon plus Tyrant Kabuteri, a Grand Kuwagamon, just be so much damage. Oh my god, your Digimon would just be gigantic. Oof. That's crazy. Anyway, we get to talk about Imperial. We have, that was Tyrant. That was a 4th place Sergio's Tyrant Kabuterimon list, top 4. And now we're gonna go into Imperial. This is Marcedonio. Top 16 Imperial deck. I hate this Devi Vmon, man. You look at this art and I'm like, oh, it's a new Vmon card. Psych, it's a Demi Vmon. And you're like, why? Why would you bait me like this? The card art is just really not focused on Demi Vmon enough to make me feel like it's his card, you know? Anyway, Imperialdramon, the bane of Lugamon right now. It's kind of sad to see no Lugamons top this event, but people love Imperial, people love to see it. I've historically just been wrong on Davis. OG BT3 Davis. I kind of felt like this deck didn't have room for this Davis anymore, but people are proving me wrong. We're still on Blitz Omni, where the interesting thing here is, what do I want to call out? Playing the one of Purple Wormmon from the set is actually a really good call out on play. If it's your turn, one of your Digimon may Digivolve into a level 4 Digimon card with Insectoid or free in its trait. With the Digivolution cost reduced by 1. There's so many times where my opponent has been able to play this Wormmon, recycle a level 4 from the missing level 4 from trash, and be able to do it cheaply, and then next thing you know, they're in Imperialdramon, they're going into fighter mode, dragon mode, ace, and they just full combo because this guy was able to just recycle something for free or for 1 reduce, and then you have another Vmon anyway, and then you're just able to go off king, you know. It's kind of wild, the combos. It's interesting that we're also playing one of Lydramon. So we're on, oh, we're on 6 Vidramons, or XVs, 6 Stingmons. We chose to like mix it up like evenly instead of focusing on the memory one. Interesting. I guess this one's like the high roll. The EX1 Vidramon just kind of has always been the high roll Vidramon because you can just, or XVmon because you can attack and he has jamming. And then these, there's value in both Stingmons. I feel like this is still the better one because there's just the draw potential early game, but later game you want the piercing and being able to gain that much memory off of your DNA effects, especially if like this one's only relevant if you play him, right? And so the other Stingmon, the XVmons, you can be more flexible with them. You can digivolve them, you can play them and still end up turn DNA and get all your value. This Stingmon, you have to play it to get the value. So I can see why we just kind of want to see both and have both available to us. Lydramon, just green and blue. If we wanted this is our 13th champion, right? So if we are our 13th champion, why not make it just kind of like that perfect blend, green, blue, no worries. Digivolves on green, so it can digivolve on Wormoms just fine, and then digivolves on Vmon 4 easy peasy, and we have more Vmons than Wormon, so traditionally we'll get there. Actually on 3 of the starter deck Paolantonio, we're just playing aggressive and we want to attack and we want to attack often. And that's about it. We're gonna 3 dragon mode, 1 fighter mode from the BT12. I don't believe I talked about this card last time, but your dragon mode can digivolve into this fighter mode, and this fighter mode is actually kind of more insane sometimes than the ace. When digivolving, suspend all of your opponent's Digimon with no Digivolution cards, then return one of your opponent's suspended Digimon to its owner's hand by returning 1 Dragonmon card from place all of your opponent's suspended Digimon at the bottom of their owner's decks. Oh my god. Just does, oh my god, then return 1 of your opponent's suspended by returning, place all of their, oh my god. It just does a lot. And with the new Vmon and Wormmon, you actually can get 4 colors under this guy, so you're sitting at 17k with blocker, security, attack +1. Like, that's kind of sick. That is kind of sick. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4 colors under that guy, 17k. And then the fighter mode is Dragon mode plus the deck is just so pushed sometimes when you read all the cards. And only 1 of the invincible dragon fusions we still got. And Mega Death choosing to have Blitz Omnimon just for that extra closeout factor. You draw enough in the deck, so you're probably going to see it, and you're a blue Digimon, so why not? Oh my god, sorry, these videos get so long. This is, we had 3 Imperials, so this should be Daniel's top 8 list. Actually, just going with the perfect, just the perfect level 4 ratios. We only have 12 level 4s, but like, I like seeing this level 4 ratio because it's just like the perfect, you only need to find, you have 3 different champions, and any combination of the 2 champions gives you a DNA, and I love seeing that. I love the synergistic ball that being able to say that is, and that's why I gravitate towards seeing a level 4 lineup like that. Maybe it makes it more consistent, maybe it doesn't. But yeah, after that we're seeing some more of the same, actually teching in one of the BT12 Paolantonio, when digivolving, trash the top 3 cards of all of your opponent's Digimon. Then if DNA digivolving 2 of your opponent's Digimon with no Digivolution cards, can't attack until the end of your opponent's turn. It's just a control card. End of attack if this Digimon has Imperial in its name, or the free trade, gain 1 memory. So it's just so you can cheat out some memory, digivolve into the dragon mode, and just rest on your laurels, get the dragon mode out, and then you have BT12 and the ace available to you. It's just not a bad card. Partition's probably still, like, our BT16 boy is still probably the best boy of the deck, but still seeing like a pretty even suite of rookies. 14 rookies is kind of like that sweet spot we're starting to see with Imperial. 2 Davis, 3 Davis Can, and then 1 of the invincible dragon insect fusion. 2 Megadeath. No Blitz Omni, but do we need it? I don't know. I can see this deck struggle. Like, this deck, as long as it gets into its 5, which is probably, I don't know, we're even a lower count of level 5, 7 5s. I mean, we just have it. We're just playing more. Sheesh, man. We just have so much search in the deck, right? and recyclable Surge too, ideally. Like, one of the things to counter Imperial is to try to get rid of those early rookies that they play and are expecting to just bounce to hand. But yeah, this was top 8. So let's go into top 4. Ignacio? Oh god. Yeah, so mixing it up with the champion lineup a little more. We still got 14 rookies. That's kind of the standard for Imperial. You want a little bit more rookies. The biggest callouts I'm gonna make for this list are obviously Hammerspark, the return of Hammerspark. Sometimes people just get got by Hammerspark. Gigadeath is kind of like a funny card. It's such a strong card for 9. Like, it makes sense. Like, it's for 9. Like, this card is insane. But yeah, like, sometimes it's just better to be on Megadeth, but we are on high-speed plug-in. Unblockable, jamming. Kind of makes sense. Like, you're gonna attack 3-4 times, right? If you have like enough memory in the combos to do it, right? Yeah, if you're able to pull all of that off, and you just and towards the end game when you're just trying to find that 1 extra check or 2 extra checks, and you just make yourself unblockable. I went on the podcast, or not podcast. We went on the tier list saying that high speed plugin, if you can play it. It's a good card. But yeah, that was Ignacio's top 4 Imperial. So now we're gonna go into some of the Numemons. We have 2 Numemons to talk about. Black base, best base. It's hard to see the 3-2 ratio on the Digipolice. We've just talked about this list a lot. 2 lose actually on only 1 Digimon Emperor, and actually choosing to play the Protoforms to make our Magnamon X a little cheaper, maybe even our Numemon if we have to raw Digivolve in the back. We're actually on a lot of rookies for 12 rookies, 12 level 4s. Interesting. Waru Monzamon choosing not to adopt that Edamon tech we saw out of Tyler, Hong Zero, and Austin, I believe was the trio that topped our NA event. Edamon's a good card, but Waru's still really good too, and the consistency of having that security attack +1 to just do more checks and win the game a little faster and not worry about necessarily what Magnamon X is doing makes sense to me. Valkyriemon X is just the newest addition. It's the top end that replaced Azulong, and it kind of is just better for the most part. Nothing really much to say. And then we actually do have a couple level 7s, and it's Numemon, man. Playing 4 of the old Ukomon and 3 of the new Ukomon. And definitely Numemon is the deck that takes advantage of Ukomon the best, especially since you're able to even include Lu into the deck pretty easily. That previous list was Juan Manuel's top 16 list. Now we're going into this was only 2 Numemons, so this is actually a top 4. This is second place Numemon Joaquin. I know J's are H's, so Joaquin. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. Edit. I can't, man. Congrats on second place. I'm American. I'm American. That's it. I'm sorry. Black base, best base, but we're actually taking in a little bit of a Matashita to try to cheek out some memory, maybe skip out on a turn if they delete the wrong thing. Actually adopting the Edamon from the North American event, playing a little less rookies. Yeah, we're playing 12 rookies, 13 level 4s in this list, playing full suite of Ukomons. 4-4 Ukomon, playing the Death X, playing the Shine. Actually, so like a lot of these ratios end up being the same. It's just like the minor changes. 3-2 split on the Satsuki as well. Only 1 Protoform. I feel like the last list was running 2, and Digimon Emperor, where this one completely cut the Digimon Emperor in favor of just more top end, I feel like, right? Edamon, Valkyriemon Ace is just the best combo for the deck right now to answer Magnamon X. Especially if you're able to get the Monzimon part on top. So -3, -5. So you need to find 3 more, right, to get rid of the Magnamon X, or is it 4 more? Either way, as long as you have 2 bodies, which if you're going to Monzimon, you should have it. Yeah, easy peasy. Congrats on second place. Numemon is a deck we've been here for a while, so we don't want to talk about it too much. And now let's go into some of the Mirages. Mirages isn't gone. It's still, if Numemon's good, Mirage is good. And what is this? Is that right? Are we actually playing Patamon? Eggman, did you do this to me? Are we actually on Patamon? No. They're all datas. I feel like this is an error. I feel like this is Aramis Gomex top 16 list. We're on Patamon. I feel like that might be an error. Whatever. We'll leave it in the video just for the genuinity of all of it. But it's still Mirage. It's still we're seeing a lot of the same stuff. We're seeing you know, the EX4 Gaomon, because it does gain you a memory, and just being able to be efficient throughout your whole deck is important. Actually playing a suite of playing 4 of the EX4 Gaomon for the same reason, Herrero gaining memory. Only playing one of the Gaomons that hard play your Thomases. Actually cutting one of the, traditionally the Mirage ratios has been 3 and 3 for your Thomases, and we're actually cutting one of the BT13 Thomases. We're on 4 mental trainings, 3 memory boosts, 2 hammer sparks, just because hammer spark just kind of gets you there sometimes. Only 3 of the BT13 Mach Galgamons. I thought they would probably just all transition to 4 of them, but yeah, see, we're here. 1 BT13 Mirage Galgamon. There are more relevant tamers than there have ever been, except you don't want to be bouncing lose. So I wonder how much. I wonder how relevant some of this tamer bouncing is. This Patamon's tripping me up. But other than that, we're seeing the inclusion. We're just maxing out on every version of jamming we can get into the deck right now. We just want to be able to attack and not worry about DP values, and I respect it. Another top 16 list. We got Jose. This is Jose's top 16 list as well. A similar thing, we're seeing a cut of the BT13 Thomas, adding the security bomb and full moon meteor impact, 2 hammer spark, still the same ratio here. Actually having less rookies, it seems like 10, yeah, only 10 rookies. That's spoopy. And actually still having 1 Lanamon. Cutting hybrid feels wrong in Mirage. You're just playing so many Thomases, and sometimes that is your clapback factor, is being able to digivolve into a Lanamon. And ideally with trainings, boosts, and hammer sparks, you're able to just go up a line anyway. Only 3 of the BT13, so we're playing one of the banned one of the blocker one from 11, and just going off from there, not maxing out on all our jamming sources, but also not playing the Galgamon that plays tamer. So we're just looking to hard play our tamers. It's an interesting thing. I didn't talk about Gomamon. Gomamon also gives you unblockable, so maybe that is why we have less reliance on the BT13 Mac Galgamon. But either way, Zunamon Ace was at 3 in both lists, so nothing crazy to talk about there. We've seen Galgamon a lot, and this is our winner. This is Agustin. Oh my god, I hate. I'm sorry, Agustin. I do speak some Spanish, but like if I don't hear it, I can't repeat it. And reading is not great for me. First place for the 120 person event, 7 rounds into a top cut. You came out ahead, you won the day, and we're seeing a lot of the same stuff that I was just talking about. The only new addition in tier list over the other lists are the Madoki Betamons to counter memory gain, and there is quite a bit of memory gain. So yeah, we're actually choosing to have one of the Thomas playing Galgamons, cutting 1 Thomas from BT13, but 3-4 split on the mental memory boost training, actually still on hammer sparks. Hammer sparks are just, I guess, are making a comeback to try to make the deck that little bit faster. However, the deck doesn't have that much draw. So, and also notably, we're on Bukamon Demi Vmon, so the deck doesn't necessarily draw that much. Like, we're bouncing cards to our opponent's hand, but we don't necessarily have that much like card filtering. I guess like we're hoping that blue memory boost and mental trainings are enough to filter our hand into seeing everything we want, but they don't necessarily draw us into more cards, right? So that's interesting. Gomamon, Gaomon, everything else is pretty par for the course and for a Mirage list. And actually only cutting one of the BT13 Mac Galgamons just cause. But I mean, it all worked. 3 Zunamon seems to be the standard. Playing the Lanamon because I feel like Lanamon is just kind of that clapback factor. That being said, I feel like why not play Kori Kakumon unless we're really looking. I guess if we're like looking to find an inheritable to get some memory, some jam. Oh, this doesn't matter. Jamming, double jamming's funny. I guess you give something else jamming, which is amusing. Or a Gomamon to try to like protect your board a little bit, like have a floating effect. But yeah, no, this is first place. Grasped Agustin. Yeah, that's the top 16. It's probably too long a video as it always is. But yeah, we're a little bit of drought. We got some events coming up. Looking forward to those. I'm glad to see Numemon didn't just dominate everywhere. And this, like, again, this is a nice spread. We got eight decks in the top 16, with the highest represented deck is only at 3 copies, and 3 of them did that. So not bad. So top 16 and 8 unique decks. I think that's diverse considering how many duplicates we saw. Just a diverse meta. Like, share, subscribe. See you guys next time. Yeah.